Just want to go over what the stock engine looks like before we put on the intake. To race ramps, they sent us out some wheel chocks for little Instagram contest that we were part of, but we're actually going to be using their cradles because I'm not a tall guy, so it's going to be a lot easier for me to using the cradles to get into this engine bay here and do the intake. Big shout out to Race Ramps. We have all our products here for the intake install out here on the table. You got a heat shield, you got an intake tube, the couplings, and the actual intake tube. And then these parts here at the bottom left looks like they would go over the heat shield. Don't know if we're going to actually paint the heat shield down the road. Just depends on what the engine looks like afterwards. But it's looking pretty stock, and this whole system right here will make your engine, still remain a little bit stock with all the black paint, black powder coating and the black coloration of the tube. Just want to give you guys a little heads up. If you ever go to any of the hardware stores, or particularly the one that we just went to, I won't be saying the name because we don't work for them, but these trays are really cool, very, very useful, because you can put all the clips, all the little rubber grommets and everything into these containers, and then the tools you're expecting to use for whatever you're doing fit into the longer version ones. And these trays cost about like $9 for the set of 3. But yep, here we go. We're gonna go ahead and start on this intake system for the Chevy truck we got back here. And again, big shout out to Race Ramps. Love those guys. Let's see how this turns out. All right, so we have taken out all the OEM air intake compartments. There was only really one bolt to take off for the air filter compartment. Those 2 grommets. Besides that, I had to go underneath the vehicle and get through the wheel well to make sure it came off. But now we are ready to install the intake. Parts that we removed from the OEM engine. We have the housing for the air filter, the intake that's connected to the housing, and the housing bracket and the actual filter. This is all that the intake replaces. Intake system is fully installed. Very simple install, no issues whatsoever. But the instructions say that you don't need clamps from the hoses to the intake. I went ahead and put some heavy duty zip ties on there. I'm going to replace it with some clamps next time I go to the hardware store. But everything is very, very solid. I really like the heat shield, how it lines up with the bolts. And like I said, I might change the color of the heat shield, might powder coat it a different color if we get some other accessories for the engine bay. But for now, this is the install of the intake system for the Chevy truck headed for SEMA. Okay, now the motor is running. We're going to see how it sounds with a little bit of RPMs. Sounding good, nothing's leaking. Next thing we need to do now is install an exhaust and then put a tune on. And that's it for now. Road to SEMA 2020.